Hey there. I had a couple talks. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I had a couple talks the past day and a half around life and doing meetings and having events and hosting conferences and stuff. The Billings, Montana team, Kevin and I were talking about services and products, whatever, websites, web apps, whatever that you can use to kind of facilitate what you otherwise would have had in person that you just don't have now. How can you do that online? And the whole adage right now of Zoom is getting old, especially on the student side. People don't want to be on a Zoom call all day, or even if it's not this one Zoom call, it's hopping from Zoom to Zoom or Google Meet or whatever the product and service is. And so we were just generally discussing, Kevin and I, what are other ways to hack it? And one thing Kevin mentioned was just smaller meetings. He said, honing in what it is you're doing to be specific, inviting the people who that applies to, smaller group of people, and then talking through that and getting that work done or making those decisions. That's a way to hack it. Instead of having a group of 50, have a group of 6 to 10. Have those people in, discuss the relevant topics, and make a decision, or discuss the relevant topics and do the work, whatever that case is. Similarly, we were on an eShip call, and same thing kind of came up. These smaller conversations with less people as a way to get more done and not have these big group meetings where in a Zoom call, you can't have a big group meeting. You can't be on a Zoom call over in a room over here using the air molecules between your eardrum and your vocal cords, this air versus on the other side of the room, they're using that air. Trying to recreate that in the digital space, that doesn't happen. You can't do those things. And then I'm listening to the Ecosystem Builder podcast, the Keystone podcast. And one of the things, the accelerator, I think it's episode 3 or 8 or 5, somewhere in there, doesn't matter. And towards the end of the podcast, the accelerator conversation moved to the demo days. And are demo days good for communities, and are they good for founders? And that conversation shifted quickly to not good or bad, but different, and having a smaller or ongoing demo day or investor roadshows becomes the thing. And so again, I'm hearing this theme over the past 3 days, literally, of taking these big groups that otherwise were great because people didn't have access, giving access, letting the crowds be big, and parsing those back to the relevant people and the relevant conversations to get either work done or have the conversation and make a decision. And so as the pendulum switches back to big groups, open collaboration, include everyone, to smaller groups, only the relevant information, relevant data, relevant topics, I want to say even in that paradigm, in moving from one end to the other, I wouldn't say that we should do singularly that. It should be both at the same time. In order to cultivate a small group and relevant topics, you have to have aggregated the collective in some way, or else you're only doing what you think you know. Again, if you stay inside here, then you're only sharing what you think you know. If you have yet to take this and test it out in aggregate, and then use what you've learned, the patterns and anomalies, in a smaller group setting with relevant personnel, if you haven't done that, then you're still stuck in your own head sharing what you think you know. It might be right. You don't know that it's right yet. And so doing the customer validation, even in community building, even in higher level conversations, even in investor profiles. So maybe that feels like a clouds conversation. To translate that into dirt, If you have an investor group, let's say an angel investor group, a local investor group, and instead of having a big demo day where you invite everyone, it's a big to-do and big hurrah, and including the investors, right, and potential customers, blah, 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 you want to invite just the angel group. Well, for one, that makes sense. If they're angels, they can come in and they can invest in the company that's giving the demo. Individual angels, though, you could even bring in. So individual angels might have an interest in ag tech or fintech or ed tech or scalable companies or Main Street companies or geographic style companies or SaaS companies or product companies or IoT. Knowing those details, right? Don't stop at angel. Those details of the vertical they care about. Then invite those relevant people. But again, that provides that requires a deeper conversation on this side. In the aggregate, hearing from people, understanding their priorities in their life, even though they've been tagged as the group of angel investors. Well, out of those people, what matters? And then inviting those folks over here to the couple of companies that are coming out of your accelerator that are going to go into ag tech, or they're a SaaS company, or they're an IoT product. So I wouldn't say one or the other. Smaller meetings are definitely a way forward. Just remember, in order for you to have a high level small meeting, you have to have done the work in aggregate to get there. Take care.